This is Dr. Ville's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike and Charles. Charles, you alluded to all the ball games. What you mean? It's time for the rankings. Week number one, it's time for the rankings. We're going to give you top 7. Let me tell you this first. There were some teams that dropped out into these polls as we start to give it to you in terms of these top 7. We're going to look at Fayetteville State Broncos 0-1. They dropped out of poll this week.
On the Black College Sports.
Fort Valley State Wildcats also 0-1. They dropped out of the top 7 in week number 1. And Langston Lions, as they open in week 0, they dropped out as well in terms of being 0-1. Receiving votes before we get in their top 7 are Kentucky State Thoroughbreds, 1-0, 120 points. On the outside looking in, along with them, are Miles Golden Bears. Although they're 1-0, they 109 points, couldn't crank the top 7. Bluefield State Big Blue, 1-0, 108 points, are not in the top 7. Florida Memorial Lions, 1-1, but not in the top 7. That lets you know how tough it is to get in the top 7 in the mid-majors. You have teams that jumped out of there and have won a game, but they're not in the top 7. So let's give it to you. At number 7, we have Central State Matadors. They're 1-0, 125 points, as they are in number 7. They were not ranked in week preseason, but in week number 1, they're in there when you look at number 7, the Kentucky State Thoroughbreds. At number 6, you have Central State Matadors continue to win and get it done. They were also not ranked as they continue to have a big weekend, 141 points. Let's get in number 5 as the Matadors continue to run. Tuskegee Golden Tigers. They held on.
Well, they held on.
In the mix. They climbed the poll 1 ranking as they came in preseason number 6 and got it done 1-0. That was not a conference game, so as a non-conference game, they are 1-0 on the season. Bringing us to number 4. Number 4 is none other than the Virginia State Trojans with the big FCS win. CIAA over the MEAC. Got it done in fashion. Looked a little scary at the end. Thought they had won it. Played around, but found a way to get it done as they beat Norfolk State. 139 points. They were ranked, not ranked, but now they're in the top 5. Let's get into number 3. Bowie State Bulldogs. Bulldogs returned in form fashion. They also wanted a piece of the MEAC, so they defeated Delaware State as they 1-0, 163 points. They jump into the poll rankings this week, previous number 7, so they climbed 4 spots as they push in the top level here. Bring us to number 2. This should not be a surprise to anyone in terms of this season. Some people may get an argument, though. They are number 2, the Virginia Union Panthers. 1-0 in the season. Big win over the SIAC as they trounced that with 3 first-place votes, 103 points. They are ranked at number 2. Preseason number 2, they stay there. At number 1, Benedict Tigers, 1-0. They also had a matchup in terms of the sister conference CIAA, but they reversed the trends that Virginia Union was able to do in terms of they got a win for the SIAC, 1-0 in terms of what takes place there. 6th place votes, 186 total points. Remain at number 1. I do want to give a shout out to number 6 Central State as they also got into some of that FCS as they got a win over SWAC, Mississippi Valley State, in that classic that we talked about earlier. So those are the top 7. Let me go to you, Charles. What are your thoughts in terms of the top 7 programs this week in week number 1?
Very impressive. Central State jumping in, get the big win over Mississippi Valley to get the SIAC victory over the SWAC. But I'm already taking a look at this Virginia State, Virginia Union. When this matchup happens, I'm already sitting back like, oh, boy, this is going to be a ground chuck game. I mean, week 1, Jada Byers goes for 25 carries, 149 yards, 3 touchdowns. But Upton Bailey for Virginia State, 18 carries, 184 yards against Norfolk State. That was impressive. So I'm already kind of salivating for this Virginia State, Virginia Union matchup whenever it happens because you're probably going to get two of the best backs in the CIAA in that one.
Man, I think he averaged over 10 yards a carry in that matchup.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you average a first down on each of your carries? That's getting it done.
They couldn't stop him.
Mike, since Charles rose up the flag first week in mid-major, he says, I'm doing well. What are your thoughts?
Nah.
Any problems this week?
Nah, you ain't doing well. Central State, I will say, is very impressive. But that Virginia, I mean, if you look at impressive win, Benedict, yes, they won. They had the most points. They played Shaw. Me, you, my grandmother, and a couple of cousins could probably line up and play well against Shaw. They beat them 52-. So, yeah, you could say Benedict's number one. But I rank the Bowie State, Virginia State, and arguably maybe Virginia Union a little bit higher than the Benedict. I would also say Tuskegee should be up in that top four with the way, because I surely expected Fort Valley to win. Tuskegee held on and showed me and the rest of the world something. So I rearranged that order a little bit, because I don't know if you were looking at strength of, head-to-head, strength of schedule, how they did last year. But if you're looking at impressive wins, that Virginia State, that Bowie State, those wins were impressive.
Well, the Golden Tigers got over in this one. They got over.
Yes, they did.
I don't know how you plan to prevent and a receiver gets behind the safety. I can never, ever figure
I don't either.
But hey, they did
have
6 goal line stops. They got
hey, you know what? I
gave them 2 extra.
They did. Give it to them. Their defense did buckle, but they didn't break.
They didn't break. Good job. They didn't break.
Perfect time, too. But, Mike, why are you starting up already? Week number one.
Because I'm Big Mike, and I just like to do that. I'm like, what?
Charles, you see this? You see this? See what I'm having?
Yeah.
We gonna do this whole fall.
All season. All season.